Hi there, welcome. It's SVPod on a Wednesday. Stanford Steve is here. Red is here. Red's it's calm.
For now.
Multiple cards. I want to start with a very quick piece of bookkeeping. People seem to enjoy the San Jose State, Boise State bad beat. Thank you to our friend Jimmy Traina, who sends it out every week, but I think this one really struck his funny bone and his fancy, as it did some of you, hot route, etc. The things, very quickly, because it's not important. If you didn't see it, San Jose State was getting 14.5. They led 14-0 on the field. Boise takes a 14-point lead, gets a pick six. San Jose State gets to the one. They're going to score. They're going to cover. We're going to be fine. Then we're not. They would have scored with zeros on the clock. They wouldn't have kicked the extra point.
Probably not.
That would have been worse. Also, on the play, been brought to my attention because I was exasperated that Boise's players were doing the smart thing. They were just lollygagging out onto the field, clocks winding. Boise had 9 players on the field on the last play. You're allowed 11 at 9. One of them, I think, just went bootleg, rogue, and blitzed. He got home. 9 players on the field. One of them blitzed and sacked San Jose State's quarterback. And that's a bad beat. Okay. Let's talk about far more important. Playoff rankings came out Tuesday night. We have reached the point now where everyone's mad. And it's exactly like politics. Because whatever candidate you like, you say the other side is full of shit, and nothing they say makes any sense. Nothing. If you like this candidate, then that candidate is completely full of it, and nothing they say will you say, you got a point there. It's strictly partisan politics and agendas and whatever. And here's the thing about this. I won't talk politics because it's way too tricky. No one wants to hear it. Although, you know what? Probably each side says some things that probably make sense because we're all Americans. We all kind of want the same things, mostly. There are points to be made for all sides. And really what this comes down to now, and we can get to this exercise in a bit, is do you want to talk about the resume and say, here's what's good about it? Or do you want to say the thing about poke the hole and say, here's what's bad about it? And then what do you value more? The good or the bad? And that's where the partisan politics come in. We'll get to it. Your reactions of what mattered that came out last night, and if there were anything that you were like, whoa.
I'm not that mad. And I get mad, and I hate everything. You know that.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Long list.
According to you. No, I thought 2 things were very telling. Reese and I have been going back and forth about this, and I've talked to him about the interview. No one's better at it. You got to try and get something out of the committee chair. And I said, I know this is going back to my producing days, but I'm like, you have to ask Ward Manuel every single week how they're going to assess people in the conference championship game. And Reese is like, I'm going to do that. And last night we got a little answer. And I think it's pretty telling. He said they're going to value those teams that make the conference championship game a lot. So to me, that tells me we're probably going to see a 3-loss SEC team in the playoff. Also, the idea of how they rank the SEC 2-loss teams, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, it's pretty telling they use strength of schedule. They have, like, when you look at how those 4 teams are aligned, they had to use the schedule, because when you look at Alabama's schedule compared to Georgia, compared to Ole Miss, and compared to Tennessee, they've played way better teams. Mm-hmm. And people could dive in and tell me about, those teams. But when you have to have something, and when you look at the records of those teams, that's what I see. Bama has, they avoid, like, this is what's crazy too. Like, when you look, they play Vanderbilt this year.
Yep.
And it works out. They don't play Kentucky and Mississippi State. Those are the 2 worst teams, and it's in their benefit. So, at the beginning of the year when you're like, hey, we don't play Mississippi State anymore, like that was a win,
Yeah.
It's actually fortunate now. So and then you look at, I get it, Tennessee beat Alabama. I'm a head-to-head guy. Like that's the all-timer. And it's tough, but when you have this many teams and you have, criteria to work at, the schedule difference of Bama and Tennessee, I think it's got to matter. And it's not like Tennessee blew them out. They were at home. It was a, close game. And I feel for you, Tennessee people. I hope this thing works out. But right now you're on the outside looking in, and that's what I took away from that.
Gotcha. Head-to-head matters or it doesn't. BYU and SMU.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I mean, we got BYU beat SMU.
Mm-hmm.
SMU's ahead of BYU. SMU's out. SMU's ahead of a team that they lost to, but then Miami, who's lost, is way ahead of SMU in the rankings. Here's the thing I think the committee, they're saying it without saying it for SMU. You have a path here. Beat Virginia. You go to the ACC title game. Win it and you're in.
Same thing for the Big 12 teams.
Your path is that.
Yeah.
That's the way you get in. You're not getting in any other way, but you're not in now. But don't worry about it.
Yeah, they're not in. They're not going to be compared to the SEC teams.
No, you're going to get in if you win your conference championship. That's what you have to do. So you don't have to worry about this bracket right now, which currently has Boise hosting a playoff game. That's not going to happen because the Big 12 is going to pass them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of fun to think about. Like, wow, can you imagine that? Not happening. So I get that you see the most recent things and you freak out, but it's like getting mad about a score in a game when the game's not final. If you're behind, you got work to do. Act accordingly. The biggest team that causes the most conversation right now is Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
My thought on that is this. Nothing matters less than what Indiana is ranked today.
Correct.
Does not matter. Their schedule strength, and Indiana people, you get so angry when people, opinions and facts. Fact is your schedule strength is in the 100s. Right?
103rd?
Not an opinion. Can't get mad about a fact. That's the fact. So when people point out, well, isn't the goal, doesn't it matter? You should win games? Sure. If you beat people that are good, this is the analogy I made about the Chargers in the NFL. Well, shouldn't it? All my classes, I got all A's. I got a 4.0. Well, what classes did you take? Oh. Washington's your best win at 6-5? You got all A's. You haven't taken any AP classes. Look at Georgia. They lost twice. They were the teams ranked 6th and 8th. You want to talk about their wins? They took some AP classes and got A's. So their weighted GPA actually should be higher, but it's not. You're ranked ahead of them, which confuses the hell out of me. I'm going to stop making all these fucking analogies. None of it matters. You got 60 on Saturday. 60 in the shoe with Ohio State. That is the only thing that matters. And if you win, then you're not going to just be happy you won. You're going to go around and try to, everyone that didn't believe in us. I don't know anyone that doesn't think you're good. No one's banged the drum harder for you than I have. I was pissed on your behalf because I said Penn State's going to be ranked ahead of you if all things are equal. They're ranked ahead of you and they've already lost. And that's bullshit. It's only because they're Penn State, in my opinion. But it doesn't matter because you got Ohio State on Saturday. Act accordingly. If you're good, you're going to battle. I think they'll battle. They might get their ass kicked. They might win. We'll find out. Go ahead.
That's the question. Can we take a couple minutes?
Please.
There. Because no one has mentioned it. What if they win?
Then they're in.
No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the team, the other team.
Ohio State?
Yeah.
But if they win? Well, they're favored to.
No, if Indiana wins, what do you do with Ohio State?
Oh, right. Ooh. What are you going to say? They're out? Well, okay. Let's do it. Who's their wins?
Penn State.
At Penn State?
Yep.
Okay, let's do this. How does Penn State get to just do nothing? That Illinois win's doing a lot of lifting. And here's this, Penn State people, please listen to me. I think you're a good football team. I really do. I mean, you did the thing where you play Ohio State and lose, and no one's madder about that than you. I think you're good. But apparently you're not going to be asked to do anything else. You're not going to have to go play in the Big Ten title game. You can just finish out your schedule. And then you just get to go sit over here and wait for your home game? Who'd you beat? Illinois. Well, that USC game, you don't get to do that thing where USC was good in that game, even though I know they were. Well, that Wisconsin thing. Oh. Place where Bama won 42-10. Everyone loves to do the transitive when it works in their favor. I know the Wisconsin win's a good win, too. But Penn State's not going to be asked to do anything. They played one good team. They got beat. And they're going to just wait for their home playoff game. That's nuts to me. You asked about Ohio State. I don't know what happens to them if they lose.
The question I have is last year Florida State didn't get in because they lost their quarterback. And now Ohio State's down their center and their left tackle. Does that matter?
It matters a whole lot, but it's
when you're assessing them moving forward.
Yeah.
Like Florida State got penalized for losing their quarterback. In a game, oh God, who did they play? North Texas, like North Alabama,
something like that.
You know, so that's a. I mean, can you imagine that fan base?
I don't want to.
Oh man,
boy, that would be really bad if that happened. They'd be real mad. Oregon's in because they're in the Big Ten title game and they're in. So they've got a spot in the playoff. If Ohio State loses, well, then that would be Indiana, Oregon that'd be the way it's tracking for
Indiana would be
for a Big Ten title game. That would be that. Wow, that's true. No, because no one has even pondered the question. 2-loss Ohio State.
Not saying it's going to happen.
No, but
the conversation, right?
Hypotheticals,
opinions.
Hadn't thought about that one. What did Ward say about, because this is the other thing. Lane Kiffin finally said the quiet part out loud about, do you even really want to make the game? Do you want to make a conference championship game?
Yes, you do.
Well, if you lose and you get punished, so somebody like a Penn State, who I think's good, the committee thinks they're good, but they wouldn't have, don't lose the game. You mean the game you didn't qualify to play in? Like, how is it going to be a disqualifier if you make it?
No. He sounded like it was going to be a huge, huge data point to make that game, regardless of what. Now, if you get beat 60-0, not great. But the way he sounded like last night, those two teams are going to be in. The other team that better win and make that title game, is Texas.
And they should. They should have to win.
If you lose to A&M,
you're out.
You got nothing.
There's nothing on your resume. Nothing.
And
Vanderbilt. And then people like to do the transitive thing. I'll do it with this one because, listen, Vanderbilt's been a great story. We've said that's awesome. They did lose to Georgia State. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So Texas's best win right now, a 3-point win over Vanderbilt. That's what they've got.
Crazy. I believe they're a better football team than Penn State too.
That's opinion. I don't know. I don't know how we know that. That'd be an awesome defense on defense game.
Blind resume. Bring them back.
I can't do that. There's too many other confusing things right now. Meanwhile, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois. Middling MAC team.
Yeah, beat again last night.
By Miami,
Good team. Notre Dame beat them.
but lost to Northern Illinois.
Just Tennessee fans are playing that USC fight song. That's what you need.
You need USC to beat Notre Dame.
Or Army.
I think
I don't see that one.
No, I think the last one comes down right now to Tennessee, Indiana, and then those are the two that you're going to be comparing. And if Indiana loses to Ohio State, and then it's Tennessee who has 2 losses, and then everyone's going to say, what are they going to say? Arkansas. You lost to Arkansas. And you did. But we beat Alabama. So here's this is what do you value more? That they demonstrated that they could beat Alabama, or that they lost to Arkansas by 2?
They beat Alabama. I watched them in person, man. That was a damn good. That's a good football team. They went toe to toe with Georgia. They matched the intensity, physicality, everything. Didn't work out. Obviously, they're going to throw the Arkansas thing in your face, but that's a playoff worthy team in my opinion.
There's a lot
but here's the biggest problem.
Go.
When you look at that would make it 5 SEC and 3 Big Ten, and I don't see that happening.
Big Ten has 4 really good teams.
I don't think Tennessee against Indiana, if they lose, is a conversation. Tennessee's better. But 4-4 makes everybody happy. Except
4 of the top 5.
Knoxville.
4 of the top 5 currently in the rankings are Big Ten teams. You don't have 4 of the 5 best teams in America. That's opinion, but my opinion is that you don't. Well, we win the games. It's because you don't play each other. Like that. That's the part that really drives me nuts.
That's the worst part of realignment.
Correct, because there's no true round robin, and then
Well, like pods, right? 4. I don't even know how many teams are in these kind of 16.
Georgia has more top 15 wins than 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 combined. So they lost. Don't lose games. Jesus Christ. How do you say that when you haven't been? Well, we got all A's. You took entry-level classes and got A's. Awesome. They lost in Oxford, and they lost in Tuscaloosa. That's their crimes. And they've got more wins than 2, 3, 4, 5 combined in the top 15 of the rankings. I don't want to hear it. And Georgia didn't make the playoff last year, and then they played Florida State and won by 1,000. Florida State was mad, didn't play. I don't give a shit. Georgia's one of the best teams, and they're going to the playoff.
The other great point Greg McElroy made last night on the show was people went back and looked at Georgia's strength of schedule last year, and it was like 100.
Won this year, right?
Yeah, but looking last year, and they were ranked number 1. Why didn't they they still didn't make the playoff because they lost in the SEC championship. So that played out.
Right. What do you value wins more than who you beat more than what your record is, correct?
Yeah.
I just think that you could literally go with each team and say, pick a side.
Oh, no doubt. It's
Oregon's fine. They're good. Ohio State, what if they lose? Interesting. Texas, they lose in A&M. I asked the other day, what are they great at? And you said defense. Sure, for sure. But like Ward Manuel's talking about, they're a good passing offense. Like the numbers on Quinn Ewers are not great. Like not great. So that's not accurate. They scored 20 points against Arkansas. You better win in College Station.
Win. Helps everything.
Penn State's fascinating. They're just not going to be. They're not going to have to go to the Big Ten title game. They're not going to have I'm sorry, you do have a win because Illinois just now that big win at home against Michigan State got them ranked.
There's only one question with Penn State.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. What is it?
Can they do a whiteout for a playoff game?
I hope so, and I hope it's at night for them because they would prefer that. That'd actually be a sick scene. And I'm rooting openly for northern teams to host southern teams, because all of these agendas and this. God, it's exhausting. So exhausting. We have an agenda, huh? It's interesting. Our pregame show is going to, what is it? Going to a Big Ten game. Again. Why would we do such a thing as a network? Well,
Top 5 teams involved.
Because our show goes to the games with the biggest teams and the biggest games. They were at Penn State, Ohio State, right? Yeah. That's interesting. And now you're going to be where? At Indiana, Ohio State. Oh, that's wild. Our agendas.
Oregon, Ohio State.
Yeah. God, that fucking agenda. Yeah, the agenda is for your show to go to the biggest games because that's what this show does because it tries to cover the sport where the biggest games are being played. This week it happens to be the Big Ten. We don't have it.
There are honestly people that think like you, I, ESPN pick it. It's amazing to me.
Your agenda.
It's like this.
Shut the fuck up. My God. What? I'm sitting in this room with him. You think I have a juice to influence anything? We're just talking. Seriously. I don't have that much power. I have no power.
Company-wide Zoom call. You guys have it. You just won't admit it.
Yeah. I wrote down all these different notes. Oh, the Pick Six previews, we mentioned them before the season started. You're reading that.
Yeah.
Had some really interesting notes about the top teams in the ACC, Miami, SMU, and Clemson, have 0 wins.
Yeah.
0. The top teams in the Big 12, not named BYU, Colorado, Arizona State, they're in the mix, 0. Texas and Texas A&M statistically leading in the SEC within their conference. Number of wins, top 25, 0. Indiana wins, 0. Penn State, 1, because Illinois. But meanwhile, why is Missouri ranked? What are we doing? That game with South Carolina was really wild back and forth, but how are they ranked? I don't know. It's all an agenda, propaganda. I don't know anymore, man. Indiana, just, you got 60 minutes.
Yeah, we got next week.
That's what matters, right? Next week's rankings. Does Indiana have a chance to win that game?
Yes. With McLaughlin out now? It's a big deal to me.
It is, because they had found, after they lost their left tackle earlier this year, and they had those issues at home, particularly against Nebraska, where they couldn't run the ball. They started to find it. Now you lose your center.
They also hung in the game at Oregon without their left tackle. Like, he got hurt early second quarter, I think it was. Like, they got to be 32-31, right?
32-31.
Yeah. So now it's just another.
I literally just sat and just read and read and read.
You don't have to read it all. I'm not trying to blame you, but like, you get in these, what do they call them? Wormholes?
Yeah. All right, let me get myself out of it.
Hate reading.
You know what? I'm going to take 20 seconds for myself right now.
There we go.
I'm going to work through some stuff. I apologize. I told you guys to shut the F up. But we don't agendas. Try to talk about the sport. We love the sport. You're passionate about it. We're passionate about it. Try to be reasonable about it. I just find things confusing. And so then I search for answers. And then instead of answers, all I find are just people that actually do have. The funny thing is the people with their own agendas accuse others of having agendas. And really, the saying you have an agenda means what you say is different than what I think. Mostly. Right? But I truly believe, as I read and read and read, what I convinced myself is it was like we could do our version of like First Take, and then you could give me either side of an argument, and I could make it.
Yep.
Get either side. Texas, really good defense. Quinn Ewers, pro, a lot of talent. They were in the playoff last year. That doesn't stand up for me, though.
No.
Because so was Michigan. What is that? What the fuck has that got to do with anything? Nothing. Then do the other side. Haven't beat anyone. Penn State, awesome defense. I watch them and think they're good. Other side. The one good team they played, they lost again. It was excruciating. You should have snapped it to 44. You didn't, but that's
Didn't score a touchdown.
That's a whole other story.
The quarterback fumbled out of the end zone. That happened.
Notre Dame, I watch you. I think you're good. You lost to Northern Illinois.
They should bury Army.
They did to Navy. They broke them. Like Navy came in there like, anchors away. They got shut out by Tulane. Shout out to Stanford Red. I don't have Alabama lost to Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt lost to Georgia State. They're out. Miami. Who have you beat? No one. Good? Cam Ward. Ole Miss, you lost to Kentucky. Bringing that up like that should be disqualifying when Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Like, okay. But Miami beat the crap out of Georgia. Georgia, we mentioned all the. I have a hard time doing anything other. You lost twice. 2 losses.
You don't have to do this.
I know. I'll stop. I'm going to put the card down.
Woo.
All of what matters, by the way, is next week. Indiana, sign up for 60. You got 60. By the way, there's some sneaky trap doors this weekend. Sky Yuma. Oh, the boat.
War Eagle.
What's that number?
2.
Who's A&M beat? They got their thing is don't get caught looking down the road. You're so ginned up for Texas. So ginned up for Texas, and I get it. But you go to the loveliest village on the plains, you could stub your toe now. That'd be a problem.
Is that a night game?
I don't know.
Yeah. Ooh, 7:30.
War Eagle. Is it Spirit still the eagle that flies around? That'll get you. Tricky one. Tricky spots this week. Just handle your business. Don't get caught looking down the road at the prize. I'm just confused, Steve. Confused. Conference championship games, do they matter?
Yes.
People are going to get rewarded that don't get into them. And that I don't get. Watch and see.
I believe you. I listen to you.
I need to stop reading.
No, you need to stop hate reading.
Because I don't want to be the one that's along party lines, and because my agenda is to be as reasonable as is possible, and because I do watch all of this, so I try to seek clarity, and there's no clarity. It's just a muddled mess.
While we're both trying to hate read on the plane, serious question.
Yeah.
How many times do we try and refresh Twitter when we're flying? Right? It's something to do, right? We're flying.
Right. And so we get out of the Wi-Fi, go back into the Wi-Fi. You can read it for a second, then it stops working. And
does that screw up our algorithm?
What do you mean?
Like what you see? I think it does. I see like 12 people on Twitter anymore.
I don't have any idea.
Okay.
I don't know how technology works. I'm just not going to complain about the fact that when I'm flying in a tube 45,000 feet off the ground, I can't, on my handheld computer, be able to read people screaming at each other about why Russillo's wrong about Indiana.
I'm mad.
Sure, Ryan.
I'm going to see Russillo this weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Columbus?
No, L.A.
Oh, good for you. I arrived late. I missed all the fun. You know what I do have clarity about?
What?
The Detroit Lions. I've reached a point now where I'm trying to figure out who in the NFC can beat them. And I don't have an answer. I've got candidates.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying now, before Thanksgiving, losing Anzalone is a big deal because losing Hutchinson was a big deal. You can't keep losing difference makers on defense unless you just want to have 38 first downs and 645 yards of offense in an NFL game. That's not an NFL box score. Jacksonville has reached the portion of the season when the competing has been exhausted. We're done with that. But I don't. Detroit's going to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Philadelphia? Who you got? Who's competing with them? Who's in their way?
Possibly a team that doesn't make the playoffs.
Who? San Francisco?
Yep.
I can't keep doing it with them. I just can't. I can't keep being the guy that kicks the can down the road and says, "Hey, November and December under Shanahan, those guys, it's November." They just blew another fourth quarter lead. They've lost to all three teams in their division. You're 5-5. You go to Green Bay and Buffalo. You got Detroit coming in. And by the way, I could keep naming the other teams. I don't know if you can beat them. I believe San Francisco is good. At some point, you have to prove it in the 60 minutes you get. They're 5-5. They're last place in their division.
Are they better than the Bengals?
No one's better than the Bengals. God, I love that team. Joe Burrow should be there. If he should be in the MVP conversation. He's got 27 touchdowns and 4 picks. He has 9 touchdowns against Baltimore, and 0 wins. Pittsburgh just beat Baltimore with 0 touchdowns. How does that make any sense? Joe Burrow and the Bengals they're good. And the thing watching them the other night against the Chargers, looking at Chase, looking at Burrow, I'm looking at their faces and I'm like, oh, they know they're going to lose and it's going to be painful. Look at them. You know you're going to lose. That's got to be horrible. Just waiting for something terrible to happen. I love them, though. I'll never quit them. I'm going to keep trying to figure out a way they can make the playoff. I don't know if statistically they're out of it. I'm serious, though, about the NFC. Philadelphia's playing better. They've won 6 in a row. Saquon should be in the MVP conversation. But, like, Green Bay, I don't know. You're not beating Detroit. Minnesota? When's the last time they looked like, wow, look at Minnesota? Atlanta? You guys might fuck around and get caught by the Saints. Like, who in the NFC can mess with Detroit right now?
Tampa.
They'll battle you.
Right.
They'll battle you.
All right.
The one thing
I understand what you're saying. Okay. But you just know it's not going to be that easy.
Probably not. But maybe. And this, what are they going to go have to play outside somewhere? No, not when they got the home field. You got to go to their joint. I just picture, and it's because I want to picture it. I want Cleveland someday to have something nice. Indian fans, or I'm sorry, Guardian fans.
Watch yourself.
Guardians. Like I'm not trying to get it wrong. They were the other name forever. Guardians and Browns. I want them to have something nice someday. I want Detroit Lion fans to see their teams go to the Super Bowl.
Now that you just mentioned Cleveland.
I want Buffalo too. That's a whole other story. Go ahead.
Here's what we wish for, right?
Yep.
This is our Christmas wish list. I forever said I wanted to see the Browns play the Bills and a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be incredible. Here's our wish.
Yep.
Lions, Bills, Super Bowl.
Oh, my God. Guaranteed one entire city would be face down in a snowbank.
One?
Well, whoever.
Both.
Actually, you're right, because whoever loses will be just like exasperated.
Can you imagine the energy exuded in the build-up to the Super Bowl with those two?
Yes.
In New Orleans?
Oh, my gosh. Bring it on.
Stepping over bodies.
Merry Christmas to all.
There we go. That's our wish.
By the way, decorations. I'm gonna start doing.
Love the Thanksgiving wreaths. Wreaths?
Yeah, little fall, festive fall. This weekend, I'm gonna do it.
They're gorgeous.
I'm going around the house this weekend. I got all these little Christmas things. I'm putting them up all weekend.
What do you mean, little Christmas things?
I mean, I got all these little
like garland.
No, I got all these little tchotchkes, all these like little snowmen and Santas, and I got all kinds of.
What's that guy's name? Artist.
Picasso.
Rockville. Rockwell.
Norman Rockwell?
Yeah. Does he have a bunch of Christmas old ones?
He's an what? What are you talking about?
It's Christmas drawings, like iconic. Norman Rockwell, Christmas.
I just got shoe boxes full of snowmen and stuff, dude. I'm just going to put them around the house.
Christmas art.
I don't have any artwork per se.
Red's just going to eat them.
Nah, dude, with shelves. On the shelves.
Oh, all right. You were acting like you were putting them in the corners like mouse traps.
What? I mean, we got some stuff that's big snowmen that Red's not eating them. We're good. We're going to get I got to get my light situation sorted out too. That's because Thanksgiving's late, and you wake up and it's gonna be December. Then you're driving around and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I'm doing an album. You know what? Kelsey's he's got the album thing. He's got that stuff. I want to sing on his album, and I'm gonna do my the Dean Martin. Now I'm the guy. I can't think of the guy that does the name. The guy, Robert Goulet.
Yeah.
Bobby Goulet. Just do that. Pretend you're that guy. Pretend you're Bing Crosby. And just
you have to wear the old school turtleneck, too.
Yeah. Big turtleneck.
Beaujolais.
Snifter.
Hammered.
Yeah. Drunk Van Pelt channeling Goulet in a turtleneck. Not singing that, baby, it's cold outside.
Creepy.
I just want to leave your house. I lock the door. I'm going to call the cops. We're not doing that song. I'll just do the happy ones.
There we go.
How'd I get sidetracked? Oh, it was our holiday Christmas wish.
Yeah.
Bills, Lions. I'm 1,000% on board for that.
There we go. You would root for Buffalo.
I would.
I know you
No,
would.
Yes,
You would.
I would. Because they've been tortured more than Detroit.
Whoa. Hold on.
They lost 4 in a row.
They went to them.
Lost them.
Went to them.
Detroit's never been.
Correct. Come on, man.
Way worse to get that close and not get the brass ring than it is to just
totally disagree.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
Would you rather lose a game 71-70 or Maryland beat Canisius last night 108-37? I don't know what the Golden Griffins have got. I'm just saying if you lose like that, you don't spend a lot of time afterwards going, if we could have run a couple more sets, a couple of out of timeouts, get a 3, we're right back in this thing. What?
Put the guys at the end of the bench in.
Right. They did. I'm just saying I'd rather get trucked than lose a close one because you lose a close one,
no
Norwood
way.
misses, you spend forever thinking about it.
We're there.
Who's more tortured, Bills fans or Lions fans?
Come on.
You guys know the right answer.
Yours.
What are you prepared to say about Pittsburgh Steelers?
Love them. Unbelievable job Mike Tomlin does of always dictating games.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing.
Think about how hard it is in any sport. Like if you're a basketball team that wants to run, can you get the other team to play your pace? And I think that's easier to do because innately players that play basketball would probably rather go than grind it out and play a game in the 50s. But Pittsburgh, that we joke all the time about sign up for 60, but it's 60 excruciating minutes of them hammering you and beating on you and making every yard difficult.
I just imagine Mike Tomlin in the mirror looking at it like as the game plan goes and like thinking about the opposing team, and he's just saying, "Oh, you're going to run the ball with Derrick Henry? No, you're not. Oh, your MVP's going to run around and make plays? No, he's not." Like I could just see this of taking away what other teams do and loving what he has about his this new walkout. I got a chance to see it too with Cam Hayward that he does where they walk out together and walk off the field. It's fantastic. I think one guy, do you want security? I got my security.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss
It's a badass. It's awesome.
That's Pittsburgh
Yeah.
personified. But they own this rivalry right now. Own it. 9 straight one-score games. They've won 8 of them. And Lamar Jackson, as great as he is, and he's great, against Pittsburgh, hasn't played him as much because of injury and where it is on the schedule, but his record's not great against him.
1-4 now?
Yep. And then you want to bring up the playoffs. At some point, when there isn't a ton of data points, it feels unfair. But we're far enough in where 2 things can be true at once. That he's great, and then against great teams, he isn't. And that would be a really good place to exist if you're a Pittsburgh fan or player. Believing, based on the results, that if we play them, we got that. And Baltimore's in that same space for me as San Francisco, where at some point you've lost 4 games. They go and we have Harbaugh Bowl, and that's fun. I did not have Jim having a better record than John on the bingo card. They do. So that game becomes really big for Baltimore. You lose that game, you're 5-5. Do I have that? No, they'd be 6-5. I beg your pardon.
Bengals would move closer.
Come on, Cincinnati.
Is that a good win for the Chargers against the Bengals?
I have it on the card.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The fact that they had a 21-point lead and they had to dodge 2 missed McPherson field goals. You can roll your eyes at me all you want. They did everything they could to blow that game. They just happened to play a team that is committed to losing every game in horrifying fashion. If they beat, look, the Chargers, you said it, and the more I thought about it, I'm like, you're right. At this point, they're 7-3.
Yeah.
It's the NFL. All those analogies I made about what class, they got a ton of A's, man. They got enough A's that they're trending in the right direction to be a playoff team.
I think you have to talk about the Chargers like you talk about the Steelers.
How so?
Record.
Look, Pittsburgh wins without a whole lot of wiggle room because their offense, they didn't score a touchdown and they managed to beat Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers managed to win a game where they had a 21-point lead and then were tied, and the Bengals had the ball 3 times in a row and somehow couldn't take the lead. I'm
not saying all time. I'm just saying, like, this season, resume, whatever. You said it with the Niners. We're in the middle of November.
This is a Parcells line about you are what your record
Correct.
says you are. I can't keep making excuses for San Francisco, and I won't keep trying to poke holes in the Chargers.
All right.
It's
deal.
7-3. I thought Cincinnati was going to win. I will own this. I was openly rooting for Cincinnati to win because I just don't want to see Joe Burrow be sad at the end of a game anymore. He's played so damn good. So damn well. And they just lose games. So they're what their record says they are too. What the Buffalo win over Kansas City, at the end of that game, what do you think of those 2 teams in terms of, all right, in the AFC? We got Pittsburgh. Baltimore, it's not like I don't believe in them, but their losses are accumulating. Kansas City finally loses, and Buffalo wins a game that place felt like they needed, other than their quarterback, for their just overall psyche. At the end of that game, how do you view those 2 teams, Chiefs and Bills?
Not equal, but I
think it's equal
in their own tier.
I feel
amongst the conference.
I feel like they're equal,
right?
I think
nobody else.
I
love Houston, but no one else does. So they're not in that tier at all.
Pittsburgh's not in that tier
with Kansas City and Buffalo.
Yeah,
no.
Okay,
no.
I just heard all this stuff about Tomlin, and I thought you were buying.
Nope,
not buying. Buffalo and Kansas City on their own.
Yes.
Okay, we don't do tiers. We have Pooptown. We'll get to that.
So we sort of do tiers.
We just do
Tiers.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Or Tears. Your kids like to ask you to have them spell words.
We're big spellers.
That's the new thing at dinner time. Ask me to spell stuff. Can I tell you something about Charlie? He's a shitty speller. Can't do it.
I had 3rd grade spell test. I was doing.
How'd you do?
I was a teacher. She did better than me. You know what was the
Shocker?
What was it?
Shocker.
No, I forgot the name. It was not complex, but it was like extra credit. Mediterranean.
Oh, that's MED.
3rd grade.
That's too many. How many T's and R's are in there? I can't. Listen,
Anyway.
I'll just tell you this. I spelled snorkel wrong at dinner. I went SNORKLE. My wife just looked at me. She's like, "What? Like snorkel? Like Wordle? Like no, not like Wordle. Snorkel EL. Maybe Charlie's not a great speller. A, because he's little, and B, because maybe his dad's a dunce. He gets that poor spelling DNA. Why'd I ask about spelling? Why was I talking about Buffalo? Now this is an elderly moment where I've lost my train of thought because I took a left-hand turn into this spelling. Son of a gun. All that hate reading I did has got my brain absolute mush. I know what it was. Buffalo pressured Mahomes. They only sacked him twice, but they harassed him in a way that even when they kind of had the door open, it just felt like Buffalo's going to win this game. But it all comes down to a 4th and 2. I thought Tim Hasselbeck did a great job. By the way, shout out to Ensworth, big one coming up off a playoff win last week. They got a huge one coming up Friday night. He did a great job showing the 4th and 2 play, and Spagnuolo had the perfect defense drawn up. It was a look they'd seen earlier. It was a play they'd run earlier, and Kansas City took it away. But what they couldn't take away was the guy that had the ball in his hands was just like, I'm getting the first down. Oh, I'm going to get a touchdown. And all week long, he minimized what it meant, but I thought that play showed what it did mean.
Yeah.
Let's go, Buffalo. Lions, Bills.
Hate the Lions.
What? Hate the Lions?
You're going to have 2 weeks rooting for Buffalo, hating the Lions.
Don't let Detroit.
So awesome.
Detroit, don't let him do this. Don't let him convince you. I'm very pro Detroit. Their quarterback's excited. He won the Hemi Award. He'd been nominated
Did
more
you
than
nominate him?
I nominated Bo Nix, who I owe an apology to for saying earlier this year he couldn't do it. He's doing it. Stat this week was he's the first rookie quarterback ever over 80% completion percentage, 300 passing yards, and 4 touchdowns. Lombardi's the OC there. Him and Peyton, they've figured out what he's really good at. He's a really athletic dude. They roll him out, move pockets, create windows. Like they don't have it. Who's their wide receiver one? Don't really.
Pele.
Him, Lil John,
Lil Jordan.
Lil John. I like to make it like that. See what I'm doing? I'm going to do another side. Hey, right now, while you're sitting here, if you're listening somewhere and you can jot it down, watch the guy sing and Get Low on the Metro.
Oh, boy.
Turn the sound. Actually, you need to be somewhere where you can listen to it in its entirety. No, but guy on the Metro singing Get Low. Thank you, Scott. You're welcome. They don't have a true, Cortland Sutton is the guy, but with respect, he's a step below the true Jamar Chases of the world.
Yeah.
Hey, we're coming your way Monday night, huh? Couple weeks. Rocky Mountain High. Hey, is it going to snow a foot or be 70? I don't know, Scott. Check the day before.
Be careful if you're going to have a couple cocktails.
At altitude?
Oh, man. Worst hangover ever.
No, you just get those oxygen tanks.
Oh, yeah. They're where?
Out there, you can
in my hotel room?
You can literally buy tanks of oxygen at gas stations. I think it's bullshit. I think it's a total scam that people like us that get out there are like, oh, I'll be good. I'll just get some oxygen. But when we went skiing last year, I just was like, yeah. Give me a hit of that oxygen, bruh.
It was the old axe in the head, man. There was no shaking that hangover. Wow, it makes a difference.
You just have to drink a ton of water. But you know what I'll do? I'll
just go vodka water
No,
instead of vodka soda?
Just water. You know what? Remind me that week. Hey, Scott, how about don't have double-digit Diet Cokes? Let's mix in a water. I have 2 teams that left Pooptown.
Whoa!
Out of Pooptown.
There's only one way out of Pooptown. You earn it.
It's a made-up place, and we can have whatever rules.
I want to know if these teams earned it. Go ahead.
I took New Orleans out of Pooptown. I took them out. Now, we said the rule is you can't beat a team in Pooptown and get out of Pooptown, and you're saying, Scott, they just beat Cleveland. How does that get them out? Because they beat Atlanta the week before, and because Atlanta keeps losing, and New Orleans has a path to win that division. And they'll just snap it to Taysom Hill and let him run around, apparently. New Orleans Saints, congrats. You're out. And this is going to be controversial. Everyone in the city hates the coach. And they lost. And I moved them out of Pooptown. I moved the Bears out of Pooptown. They're not a bad football team.
I didn't have them in.
Bears and Saints out of Pooptown. That means the current residents of Pooptown are as follows. Hit it. Vegas.
Pooptown.
Jacksonville.
Pooptown.
I'd like to stop right there and say, you know that enormous prison you guys have in Jacksonville? That lovely architectural monolith?
Is that downtown?
I don't know. It's on the way to our hotel. Someone has to go there and not a long sentence, maybe just an afternoon, and sit and think about what it is that's going on there. Because that effort last week was the worst I've seen this year. And it was magnified by the fact that you're playing an absolute wagon. But holy smokes, was that poor. Tennessee.
Pooptown.
Cleveland.
Pooptown.
New England.
Pooptown.
But they're more competitive of late. The New York Jets.
Pooptown.
What's left to do?
Having to watch them.
You fired everybody. This guy, that guy, the other guy. It's everyone's fault. What a mess. And you think about some of these teams that aren't good. I don't know that we really had high hopes. But you juxtapose what people thought they might be, talk themselves into them being, and what they are. Jets, man. Like levels of hell. They're in their own, I think. Dallas Cowboys.
Pooptown.
Pooptown. Hey, why don't they play Trey Lance? You think Mike McCarthy, who knows he's fired, wouldn't play him if he thought it gave him a chance? You understand they're there at practice every day, right? He thought he could do it. He'd probably let him try to do it, don't you think? Just my thought. New York Giants.
Pooptown.
Carolina Panthers.
Pooptown.
That's it. Vegas, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Cleveland, New England, the Jets, Dallas, Giants, and Carolina.
9?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 9. Niner. That's what I got. We're at the point in the season, though, where we're about to find out who's got a firm grip on the rope, who's willing to continue to battle in the face of evidence to the contrary that they are still involved and still have a hope.
And who's going to be on the T-shirt?
I don't think we can put logos on the T-shirt.
That's all right. We'll make up our own. Charlie will draw them.
I like
Can't
that.
spell. Just have him draw it.
Shouldn't have sold him out like that. He's trying his best.
Yeah.
Trying his best. And I couldn't spell snorkel. I tried to spell like Wordle. By the way, people did say, they said, you make them, we'll buy them.
Told you.
Merch. Now, we got to explore that lane. Talk to one person, like, are we allowed to do all that? Like, sort of, kind of a permission, forgiveness kind of thing. I think we just do it. What are they going to do? Come here and arrest us? Set up like a bootleg boutique in the back. Have people drive by and like, hey, you got them Pooptown shirts? Go, Steve's out back. It's in a shed in the back.
Cash.
All right. I don't know what else I have.
What else is on the cards?
I don't know who I haven't talked about. I want to go back to one college thing that I've been thinking about. Not hate reading. I just started thinking about it. There's an executive that works at ESPN and has for years that he and I have this bit, and I don't know why it's funny. It's funny only to the both of us, but we've for more than 20 years we do this. When someone gets fired, it's I want you to know something about Tom Herman. That's a leader of men. Those young men were fine men in the community, wonderful in the classroom, and he's going to be just fine. He's going to continue giving folks a peck on the cheek and sending them out in the world better young men than they were when they arrived. It's just this whole shtick we do. Like I was
wondering what you were doing the other night.
We're doing the PR campaign for the fired coach. Let me tell you something about that young man. And then we started working our way back around. How about the career arc of Herman? My gosh. Think about when he was at Houston and we're like, man, this is the guy. Gets to Texas.
We're back.
Not 0-2 against Maryland.
Beat Kirby Smart in a Sugar Bowl.
0-2 against Maryland. Now he's at FIU. FIU's Pitbull, my bad. And it's over there. You just think how quickly things go from being the guy that was the guy. LSU wanted him. Texas wanted him. It was the obvious next guy. College football had it years ago when Urban was at Utah. People are going to fight for this guy. Notre Dame, Florida, Ohio State, that's where he went. Worked out well for both of those places. In college football, right now, I just don't feel like there are those obvious names that everyone in the sport's clamoring for. And maybe part of it's the way things the sports have changed. Portal and NIL, it feels different on some ways. Expansion's made things feel different in some ways. But are we wrong in thinking it's odd that there aren't those that's the guy that's the next guy?
No, because it's harder to win at those levels. It's really that gap. I mean, I saw it at the beginning of the year when, I'm not trying to shred teams, but oh man, I'm trying to think who it was. But just, your FCS is even in the American, where Army is and Navy, I love Summerall at Tulane. He's that guy that you're talking about, the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of, what you have to have in place at those lower tier non-power 4 schools now make it so much harder. And, you saw the domino effect this past offseason where even a power 4 head coach and Jeff Hafley was like, I'm out. I'm going to coach at the NFL. I don't want to do this anymore. Chip Kelly takes power 4 head job, goes and takes a power 4 offensive coordinator job. You're starting to see these guys get to a point where they're able to dictate what they want, and those jobs are not, you're going to still, Dillingham, but what he's done at Arizona State is awesome. But I think that's what you're going to end up getting is these younger guys that go take these jobs, but you are so against it because of the resources that the Power Fours have and what you need to succeed. You're going to see it even more in a couple weeks when, these teams from the non-Power 4, they're good players, they're gone, and you're just taking it. And I had a conversation with a former head coach at a big job the other night, and I said, will anybody be able to just go back to, I'm going to recruit my butt off. I'm going to get all recruits and I'm going to build this. They're going to give me 4 or 5 years. I'm going to build this. And he goes, you could do that, but then your best players are just going to get plucked away. Just the idea of developing guys, it's sort of gone like that. Coaches, you got to be a real innovative dude.
Coaches now have said to me, we don't worry about a guy being one and done anymore because every single player on our roster is one and done.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you have to approach it, which just sucks. Just sucks. They got to figure it out. Got to figure out some kind of way that we could allow, by all means, allow guys to participate and make this dough but not just be able to bounce around every single year. What about coaches? They have things called buyouts. So you want players to go? Fine. There's a buyout. You got to give us this amount of money to leave.
Contract.
There you go. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But it is just interesting to me because the line of demarcation in between haves and have-nots is so much greater. Like when Urban was at Utah, what league were they in? Mountain West.
Yeah.
That was before they were in the Pac-12, and now obviously they're in the Big 12 because so much has changed. But he could be who he was there in a way where if you're at that level now, it's going to be really, really difficult to show that you're that guy because all your best people are going to get taken by the people ahead of you. I saw someone mention, maybe Rhett Lashley will be a guy that would look to. Why? You're in a power conference and you're at SMU. They have money and then more money. And then if you need us to talk to the guy that's got the most money, we'll call him. Why? What is a better gig than that? They're on the fringes of the playoff right now. So maybe the Tulane situation you mentioned, maybe, but I just thought it was an interesting.
Oh, you're right.
An interesting sort of look at what it is.
But that's why.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard.
And it's going to get nothing but harder.
Yeah. That gap's going to increase.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know what else I have. There's arrows and Baltimore to the Chargers. I knew what that meant. That's a big one. I got so much more hate stuff I wrote down. Just let's let games play. 60. You'll be in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be at that ex-Moeller game on Friday night. I saw Herbie tweeted that's sold out.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a fun scene.
Yeah, can't wait.
Indiana fans, you got all you need. You got all the runway you need in front of you. Opportunity. Right here. I don't have anything else.
Got Ansonia Nagy Thanksgiving morning.
Are you going to go?
Gonna go.
Shout out Valley New Year.
You want travel?
Hmm?
You ready for travel? Here we go.
All right. The itinerary for the big man.
Columbus.
Yep.
L.A.
Yep.
Ansonia.
Valley New Year.
Game day Thanksgiving Saturday. Denver.
You're not going home? What kind of, are you packing like a trunk? Like coming to America?
That's why Marty Smith sent us the text today. I ask him all the time, like, he travels a lot. He's got to wear suits, this and that. And like, he's taught me how to roll clothes, not other things.
Stanford Steve gets high as shit.
Never, ever in my life have I
massive
attempted.
Blunts and just gets absolutely
Phillies
faded. Imagine him. Think about that.
Oh.
So he taught you how to pack a bag?
Yeah. So,
but you're going to get the Coming to America collection, like the full Louis Vuitton trunks collection?
No. I got one.
Big one?
Yeah. Purple. Wife's.
You know it's your bag.
Yeah.
Although if you're going to FBOs, you don't have to worry about
no FBOs until I see you in Denver.
That's a long trip.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you're getting your rest, your water, and your vitamins taken care of because you're going to get sick.
They got to have winter and summer clothes. You know?
True. Got to have both. We got some change there's some stuff coming.
I know. Worried.
Patterns.
Temperature.
Patterns. Can't wait for all my weather people to start talking about the patterns.
That's a couple dustings.
Whatever. They'll just look at the NAO and the GFS and they'll tell you 96 hours out. Look at this.
What's Denver looking like?
I'm telling you,
we can't even know until 2 days before.
Got family out there in Morrison, lovely up sort of in the hills. Snowed a foot.
What?
Snowed a foot, and then
it's gone.
A day later, their dog's out. I'm like, where's the snow? That's gone. I can't fathom the weather there. It would be. I don't know if it'd be great or if it would drive you nuts. So I don't know. Bring a big ass parka and bring some shorts.
All right.
No, don't bring shorts. You're not going to need shorts.
I'm going to bring some shorts to LA for sure.
Is Ansonia unbeaten?
They are.
What's Nagy's record?
8-1.
Ooh. And Nagy got you last time, didn't they?
Correct. Now we got to go back up there. Veterans Stadium.
That's out there by Groton. That's a tricky.
Definitely not by Groton.
That's a tricky.
Right up Route 8.
That's such a cool thing. This is very clearly an inside joke, but those that know. Steve was a star at Ansonia, the Chargers. They won all these state titles. It's been a great school forever. Great program in the state. Naugatuck, that rivalry goes back how long?
Oh, God, 130 years.
There's nothing cooler to me than that. Like this sport that we're so interested in, whether it's the NFL level or the college level, and we get the the passions, and why it is that you're backing your conferences and your teams. And you understand why we back the SEC, because it's a mandate from our company and we're told to do so. Or we just watch the sport. No, but the thing about the sport is that it's such a part of the fabric of the community. And those games are going on all around the country that week, and you were part of that one. And in that part of the world, what's bigger than Ansonia and Naugatuck?
Nothing.
That's the best.
And that's like crazy is Friday night going to check out X and Moeller. Like Moeller's as big as anything. You talk about Ohio football. Like I've never seen it firsthand. I cannot wait to see it. Talked about going to see Pollock and his crew in Georgia and how different that level is.
Oconee, huh?
Yeah, North.
Don't get it twisted. North Oconee. That'll be a blast.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be a blast Friday to see that, because that's
correct
on a different level.
Yeah, this is massive.
But there's no minimizing in that part of the world, in the Valley. I mean, there'll be thousands of people at that game. Bars set up.
Oh.
People get wrecked.
Wednesday night. Norwood's, you coming?
I can't make it. Red will make it, though. My best to everybody at Norwood's.
Okay. One other thing. People, if you own headphones, wear them. It's traveling like nonstop. You see everyone just FaceTimes and has a conversation out loud. It's unbelievable.
We live in a society.
Do you own headphones?
Yeah, I do.
You don't ever wear them with your phone, though, right?
I don't do the out loud conversation. I got a new phone this year, so you don't have to hear my hits with Michael Kay and Don LaGreca and
I'm
Peter
saying,
Rosenberg.
though, like, you don't ever use headphones like to talk on your phone.
I don't.
No.
I don't. But I also don't sit in public and have conversations.
Correct.
No one is interested in that.
It's bad, man.
People that take their socks and shoes off on planes, you should go to jail. Disgusting. Not real jail, but like airport jail, where you should have to be interrogated and ask, why did you think it was okay to put your ashy-ass foot up on someone's seat rest? I don't think people should go to jail for talking on the phone. I think that there should just...
No, it's just...
I think you should just be allowed to give them a look. And give them like that, like this. Let me show you how to do it. But you're just like, really? That's it. I think that would work. Or you could just you can mean mug him. I just think the shrugs, like you're just like, come on, really? Like, figure it out. I'm going to go on and read some more stuff about who has wins.
Don't do it.
Who has?
You already know.
Yeah, I got it.
There are some stinky games, and I'm looking at one right there.
Yeah, it's just a couple of tricky spots. And then, by the way, Sunday, speaking of Pooptown, Sunday's NFL slate. Ay. Hey, who's the fantasy starters? You got any? This is a bye week challenge. What's your guys' record?
Huh.
Good.
2.
All right.
Why? Hold on. Why are the Lions only giving 7.5 to the Colts? Come on.
Figure it out. I just want to figure out. I want to figure out if I can continue to have the Jaguars and the Titans every single week
in a teaser.
Can't lose. I don't know if you guys understand how this works. They give you 10 extra points, so that means with the Jags they were getting 14. So now you're getting 24. It's the NFL. You're good. Put them in every teaser you got. Wait, it's 52-6. Like 24 is not going to help us. No, 44 wasn't going to help you. Help me. All right. 2 things for Scott to work on. A, stop hate reading.
Yep.
We'll be fine. People figure it out. B, stop teasing the Jaguars.
The Jets. We don't have to watch the Jets this week?
No, they're on a bye.
Thank God.
They're sorting some stuff out. By the way, just like I don't have to read stuff, you don't have to watch the Jets. Just turn the channel. No one's making you do it.
No, but they're like on prime time.
That is true.
You know?
Yeah.
One last thing on the way out.
Okie doke.
Have you watched much NBA?
Not a ton.
Because I'll just leave it here. We made fun of the NFL product. NBA product is not great.
Kind of become. I mean, it's this. This is people are talking about this quite a bit. Like this, the volume of 3-point shooting is it's just sort of that.
Yeah,
and it's pretty. Analytics make it pretty clear that the ability of people to shoot from 3 makes way more sense to shoot because you get 3 instead of 2.
Mm-hmm.
See how that works? And that's sort of what it is. It's tough. And the back-to-backs and who plays, I don't know. But you know what? Like, people rip them and say, oh, the product's this and that. They just got $80 zillion billion from all of us. So I'm sure they're like, we'll be okay.
Mm.
Yeah, you will, but you should. I don't know. I don't know what has to happen. What are we going to do? Move the line? It's not going to happen. I have one, and it's a college thing. And it's on the heels of what I just saw last night. I just want to say a shout to Cam Jones. I don't know how many he had last night. Marquette.
Hit triple-double. And Benetti called it in the late first half.
Did he?
After they got their audio issues fixed.
I saw him up close Friday night. Maryland played Marquette, and Marquette won the game. Close game, good game. I left encouraged because I'm like, those are 2 good teams right there. And after I watched them dismantle Purdue, Marquette made me feel even better about the fact that Maryland actually shot the ball well. This Marquette team, Shaka's guys fly all over the place, play really good defense. But Cam Jones is lefty, and he had a triple-double last night. He just is everything is on his time. Like, he's not in a rush, but he's going to get where he wants to go. I love that in athletes. Athletes that just look like, I'm not stressed, I'm not pressed. I'm going to do my thing, and then I'm going to figure out where I can get my shot, and I'm going to get it, and I'm going to make it. I don't know what his NBA, whatever comp is. I don't care. I just know this is a sport that people kind of poo-poo. You and I both really enjoy college basketball. Yeah. If there are better guards than that guy in America, tell me who they are so I can watch them. But to me, Cam Jones, salute to you, young fella. You can do it. And that's a really good Marquette team.
I feel something brewing in this area with the Commanders and Maryland basketball, and I can't wait.
What's that?
People are ready to jump out of trees.
If they're good?
They are good.
See?
Crazy. Big East, you mentioned Marquette. A bunch of good teams ranked. They've had some horrible losses in the conference. Villanova won last night. Beat Penn. So nothing really makes sense because if that's the best team in the Big Ten last night, whoa. It'll all sort itself out, but
they beat Alabama by a bunch in Mackey the other night.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Purdue did. I just think Marquette's just really good. I think 5-0 DePaul. Coach Holtman resurrecting the Blue Demons.
Yeah, I tweeted last night. I was messing with Jeff Goodman. But when I saw Holtman was one of our first guests when we started the pod. Love the guy, but I honestly had to double think. Like, I didn't know if they were still in the Big East, DePaul, with all the conference realignment. I honestly did not know if they were still. Like, I didn't know if the American grabbed them with everybody moving.
Who's in it?
Correct. That's exactly what I thought. I'm like.
You know what that speaks to? That
bad.
They were so bad for so long that you lost track of what conference they played in.
Seriously, I did.
Shout out to Coach Holtman.
Yeah.
5-0. That would be a fun one for them to get right. St. John's and DePaul, when we were young, were great.
Oh, my God.
Great.
DePaul, Notre Dame, every Saturday.
And if you could resurrect that, get Chicago on board, that'd be a cool thing. Cam Jones. Watch him when he plays. Indiana, 60 minutes. Make him count.
Got him.
All you want. Nothing else matters. Seriously. None of the talk matters. If you had to put your pencil down and the test was over, I'd be pissed. No, you get your chance to get your A in that high level class, and then your GPA is rock solid. No one will have anything to say. And by the way, if you go down swinging in your battle, you could distinguish yourself in a loss. Apparently, Penn State did.
Prediction.
Yes.
Auburn
wins on the field.
GPG and winners.
Yes.
I need the font behind you in the big.
GPG. Stanford Steve, 10 over 500 for the year in your picks?
Yes, sir.
We were 10 under, but now we're 6 over. Unflappable.
Things a lot quieter now. People ain't coming at you.
People don't heckle me nearly as much with that.
Yeah, because you're winning.
And
It's amazing.
Funny how that goes. Lose one game. Nice pick, loser.
Yeah.
How about 5-3-1? Is that plus for you for the week? And we lost San Jose State. We should have been 6-2-1. Actually, the one was Old Dominion. That was kind of dirty.
Oh, God, I watched that the other
Stop talking, Scott. No one cares. Have a good week. We'll see. Am I going to have you Saturday night from someplace?
I got to figure out travel.
All right, because our friend thread, they really enjoyed the pod. And then the one guy said, except for the one Steve wasn't on. So just for Preston, I want to make sure that we can have you somewhere, even if you're on a walkie-talkie.
Speaking of people that don't mind chiming in.
Yeah? All right. Have a nice week. See you on Saturday night, theoretically.